Welcome back to History of Simple Things. Today's topic comes from one of our viewers, Ron Wise. Thanks for the suggestion. You asked, how is paint made and what goes into it? If you've ever picked up a brush to paint a wall, a piece of furniture, or even a work of art, you've probably wondered, what exactly is this colorful liquid and how is it made? From the natural pigments used in ancient cave paintings to the high-tech coatings on cars and spacecraft, paint has come a long way. So what's inside a can of paint, and how does it all come together? Stick around as we break it all down right here on History of Simple Things. Before we break down how it's made, let's define what paint actually is. At its core, paint is a mixture of four key ingredients: pigments, binders, solvents, and additives. Pigments give the paint its color. Binders help the paint stick to a surface. Solvents keep it liquid until you're ready to use it. And additives improve things like drying time, durability, and texture. Each type of paint, whether it's for houses, cars, or art, uses a variation of these ingredients. But the way they're put together is what makes the magic happen. Paint has been used for thousands of years, dating back to prehistoric cave paintings. Early humans crushed natural materials like charcoal, minerals, and plants to create their own primitive pigments. Today, the process is much more refined, thanks to advances in chemistry and industrial manufacturing. Yet the goal remains the same: to create a durable, vibrant substance that adheres to surfaces and lasts over time. Let's start with pigments. These are the substances that give paint its color, and they come from both natural and synthetic sources. Natural pigments can be made from minerals like ochre, iron oxide, and titanium dioxide. Synthetic pigments, on the other hand, are engineered in labs to create colors that are brighter, more durable, and more consistent. To prepare pigments for paint, they need to be ground into a fine powder. This ensures that the color distributes evenly in the final product. The finer the grind, the smoother the paint will be when applied. Some pigments undergo additional processing to improve their light fastness, meaning they won't fade when exposed to sunlight. Different pigments require different processing methods. Some must be treated with heat or chemicals to improve their stability. Others are combined to create custom colors. Ever wondered why certain shades are more expensive? That's because some pigments like cobalt blue or cadmium red are difficult to produce and require complex extraction methods. Now that we have pigments, we need something to hold them together. This is where binders come in. Binders are the glue that makes sure the pigment sticks to a surface and doesn't just flake off. Common binders include acrylic, oil, and latex. The type of binder used determines whether the paint is water-based or oil-based. Acrylic and latex paints, for example, are water-based, making them easy to clean and quick to dry. Oil-based paints, which use binders like linseed oil, take longer to dry, but offer a richer, more durable finish. In the factory, pigments are mixed with binders in massive vats. This step turns the dry pigment into a thick, paste-like substance. Some industrial-grade paints require specialized binders that enhance their resistance to weather, moisture, or corrosion. For example, paints used on ships and bridges contain binders that protect against rust and saltwater damage. So far, we have a colored paste, but we need it to be a smooth liquid that's easy to spread. That's where solvents come in. Solvents thin out the paint, making it the right consistency for application. In water-based paints, the solvent is, no surprise, water. In oil-based paints, solvents like mineral spirits or turpentine are used. These solvents evaporate as the paint dries, leaving behind just the pigment and binder. The amount of solvent used can also affect the paint's coverage and drying speed. Now that we have all the ingredients, they need to be blended together. This happens in huge industrial mixers. The paint is stirred, churned, and ground down until it reaches the perfect consistency. This process is known as milling. It ensures that all the tiny pigment particles are evenly distributed, giving the paint a smooth, uniform color. Some paints go through multiple milling stages to achieve an ultra-fine finish, especially those used for high-end automotive or artistic applications. Before the paint is ready to be sold, it has to go through rigorous testing. Manufacturers check for color accuracy, durability, drying time, and resistance to elements like heat, humidity, and UV rays. Paint is tested on a variety of surfaces to make sure it adheres properly and maintains its color over time. If it doesn't pass the tests, adjustments are made until it meets industry standards. Once the paint passes quality control, it's time to package it. Paint is poured into cans, labeled and sealed for shipment. Some paints are put into spray cans for convenience, while others are stored in large industrial drums for commercial use. From there, it's sent to stores and warehouses ready to be used for home renovations, car painting, or creative art projects. So, the next time you dip a brush into a can of paint, remember that it's more than just a simple liquid. It's a fusion of centuries-old craftsmanship and modern scientific innovation, carefully designed to bring color to our world. From the pigments that give it vibrancy to the additives that enhance its durability, every drop of paint is a testament to human ingenuity. Whether it's the walls of your home, the sleek finish of a car, or the strokes of a masterpiece on canvas, paint is everywhere, shaping the way we experience our surroundings. The next time you pick up a brush or roller, take a moment to appreciate the complex journey that brought that can of color into your hands. Who knew something so simple could be so fascinating? Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.